got some questions from social media. You can follow The Minimalists on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at The Minimalists. Miriam has a question for us.
With the cost of everything going up lately, it's getting harder for me to declutter items like clothes because I worry I won't be able to afford to replace them in the future. How do I get over that fear?
We're really talking about the fear of missing out, but this is one of those weird fears. I'm afraid of missing the thing that I wouldn't miss. And so I would say, right? Because she's like, I want to get rid of this thing. I know I wouldn't really miss it, but because of inflation, I might miss it later, right? This is the ultimate sort of just in case. And so Ryan and I have the 2020 rule in the Minimalist Rulebook, which you can download for free, theminimalists.com/rulebook. And the 2020 rule or just in case rule just says, hey, if you really miss the thing, like you could have gotten some value from it, you can replace it. Less than $20, less than 20 minutes. It's okay. The cool thing about the rule is you never end up actually using it.
Yeah.
We've used it 5 or 6 times over the last decade. And so what I'll say to you, Miriam, is you won't miss the missing things that you don't like. You don't like these things. So if you don't like it, it's okay to get rid of it. If you don't like it, you're not going to miss it. Now, why would you actually miss it? Because you tell yourself a story that I should miss it. Or you tell yourself a story that, oh, the memories are in that thing. But of course, the memories aren't in the thing. The memories are inside you. And so if you really feel like you'll lose those memories, simply take a photo of the thing and then let the thing go. You still have the trigger for those memories in the future.
Don't simplify because you feel like it would be easy to replace. Simplify because of what you know you can do with that new space. And, you know, the freedom that you get from letting things go, it's a freedom that you don't get to experience until you actually let things go. There are some things in life, like some superpowers, some benefits that you don't get to have if you remain at the level of hypothetical consideration, right? Like you've got to let it go. And when you let it go, there's an openness there. There's a possibility there. And now you can do something with it. And that's why you let things go, because of what it opens you up to in your life. And you know what? You might miss it, but sometimes I think we overemphasize the power of missing something. You know, I miss things from my past. So there are some days where I miss experiences of childhood. So maybe you will miss it. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But missing something isn't incompatible with letting it go because you know that the next stage of life you want to move to is what's best for you right now.
Well, you should never let go of something that you're planning on replacing. Well, I shouldn't say never, but I mean, it wouldn't make, like I would personally, it would have to be an exception to the rule, but like I probably wouldn't ever let something go knowing that like I'm going to need that in the future.
I might if it was far enough away.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, and you know what, that goes to the boundaries that we set up. And that's what we talk about in our podcast. The majority of the time is like, hey, what are my boundaries? What are TK's boundaries? What are Josh's boundaries? They're all a little bit different. But the question is what boundaries do you have set up for yourself, Miriam? Minimalism is about balancing. If you can't afford to let go of everything. You cannot afford to hold on to everything. And it's not that binary choice. It's about finding that balance. And minimalism can help you find that balance. So Miriam, how do you take the minimalist approach to this question? A, what are your boundaries? What do you truly value? I mean, those are 2 great places to start.
Yeah. And the beginning part of her question had to do with inflation. So I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about inflation because that's been certainly something that is affecting all of us.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, my added value today is a paper towel dispenser. But I'll get to that later during the added value segment. But I noticed when I looked it up recently, so I get a picture for Jordan so he could feature it on the video version of the podcast, the price of it has gone up. I ordered this, 5 months ago? And it's probably almost doubled in 5 months.
Wow.
And I noticed with these tables that we have here, the production tables, they're from IKEA. And I looked them up recently because we had to make some modifications to it. And the price of those had gone up from like $79 to $109 or something. Wow. Now, we bought them at a lower price. And so, yes, inflation is virtually inevitable. It's outside of your control. And so we will sometimes talk about changing the controllables, working on the controllables, understanding the controllables, adjusting for the controllables. But inflation is one of those things that I can't control. I can only control how I react to it.
Yeah.
That's right. And you're going to have cycles of this all throughout your life, right? You're going to have periods of time where things that are going on economically make us a little afraid to spend money. And you're going to have times where it incentivizes us to get out there and invest more aggressively. Those aren't things that you can predict. Those aren't things you can control. But what you can control is all the things that Ryan talked about, making a clear assessment of, hey, what do I want? What's my why? What are the boundaries that are going to protect that why? And then you get rid of things not because you feel like you have to, but because you truly have no intention, no place for them to fit in how you're going to use them.
Yeah. I just had this like random thought, and help me unpack this, or maybe I'm just crazy, but we spent $79 on that. Okay. Let's say that we had to sell it because we didn't need it anymore, and we only got $20 for it. I mean, in our mind, we're like, oh man, we just lost, $59.99, whatever that works out to be. However, well, first off, we wouldn't think that because of the sunk cost, but that's how I used to think. Oh, I just lost $59.99. But you talked about it going up in price. I don't look at it and think, we just made $30. That thing's $110 that we just made $30 on that.
Right, because we do now have more perceived value, technically, right? Like, oh, wow. Here's the opposite of that, though, right? We often think, I should buy this because something's on sale. I was at the Design Within Reach outlet last weekend with Bex, and we were looking at this chair. And the salesperson comes over and says, well, actually, these chairs right now are an extra 20% off. And Beck's not thinking, goes, oh, that might make the decision for us. I said, no. That will never make the decision for me. Sale price is really fool's price, FOOLS, not full price, but fool's price. Why is that? Because now it's creating some additional impulse in me.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm not willing to pay full price for the thing, why the hell am I going to buy the thing I don't want just because it's on sale?
Did you enjoy this standalone Patreon highlight? If so, you can listen to full episodes of the Minimalists private podcast available exclusively on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/theminimalists or click the link in the description. Your support keeps our podcast and YouTube channel 100% advertisement free.